Do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY only $4.99. Plus DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
What are you doing this Saturday, October 16th? Well, how about joining the elite climbers for a rec and competition climb? Or just come out to watch this exciting event. Of course, there'll be food vendors, plus live bands, a kids splash pad, bouncy houses, kids climb, games, and more. Yes, it's fun for the whole family. If you want to compete, it's only $50. Most everything else is free. That's this Saturday, October 16th at Lake Lillian Park in Bellevue from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yep, it's something different.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
Started in 1975. It's Yendel's Building Materials. Whether you're making repairs, adding a room, or building a house, Yendel's constantly delivers excellent service and top quality materials and many of the tools and hardware you need to get the job done. At Yendel's, they take pride in supplying their customers with new and innovative products. Yendel's experience in truss design, manufacturing, and component materials is second to none. 834 North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala, 732-3000. Stop by to experience the difference.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Thursday, halfway through the show. Thanks for being here, folks. Really enjoy the chance to get out and talk to you. So if you want to talk to me, give me a call. 622-9622 is the number to be part of the show. 622-9622 is the number to be part of the show. You remember back in March we talked about DCF and how they had, took some kids from parents, put them in foster care. There was complaints about the foster care system. 4,000 complaints of a USA Today investigation. They said everything from striking children with their hands, abuse, and belts and household objects. There was kids that said they'd been denied medical care. They went to school dirty, dressed in dirty or ill-fitting clothes. And most of these complaints weren't made by the children. They were made by teachers and healthcare professionals, daycare workers. Well, DCF at the time said, we looked into it. It didn't meet the definition of serious harm. They did classify some of them as potential license violations that might prompt an administrative review, but not a full-fledged investigation. Well, after the USA report come out, the DCF, they did do an internal review of more than 1,100 of the 4,000 complaints. What did it find? Shocking, folks. Here we go. Only 19% of the accusations were inaccurate. Twice the number were deemed accurate. An additional 21% were partially accurate. But did anybody face repercussions? Nah. 1% of the people that were complained about in these complaints, 1% had their foster care license revoked. Foster care is a bad system, folks. It's a broke system. And it had been broke for as long as I can remember. Well, Tom, what do you know about the foster care system? I was a member of the foster care system 3 different times in my lifetime. My mother, when I was 12 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, and 15 years old, 3 separate occasions took me to Jesse Street, which is where Juvenile Hall is in Jacksonville, Florida. Took me into the lobby, usually, all 3 times it was at night. Took me into the lobby, and her exact conversation with her, and my mother was a paranoid schizophrenic, so she had issues, I'll give you that. But all 3 times to the receiving officer that was sitting at the desk, she walked in, I walked in with a suitcase with my mother, and my mother goes, "I can't handle him, he's yours," and she walked out. 3 different times she gave me up to the state. Now she come back and got me every time after, the longest, I believe the shortest time was 8 months. The longest time was 2.5 years. And I was put in the foster care system. I was at the Baptist Home for Children off University Avenue in Jacksonville. I was in numerous foster care homes in the less than desirable neighborhoods of Jacksonville. The one good foster care moment I had was with the Taylor family. They actually cared. In my life in foster care, I probably went to 13 or 14 different foster care homes. I would sleep in beds where roaches would crawl across your face. Rats, when you would go into the bed, you'd pull your blanket back, rats would run out of the bed. Yeah, I had that. Money would come to the foster parents to buy you school clothes to go to school. They would pocket that money and take you to Goodwill and buy you clothes. Or you'd go to garage sales, and the foster care parents would make you stand at garage sales and try shirts on and everything from other kids as they pocketed the clothes allowance money. I was in foster care homes where you would walk into the kitchen and the entire refrigerator would have big chain locks on it, chains wrapping the refrigerator with locks on it. I was in foster care where I not only got beat up by kids that were 17, 18 years old that were in foster care, but I saw kids sexually abused by 16, 17-year-olds that were in foster care. It's a bad system. It's a system that is overworked. It's a system that's overloaded. Caseworkers with hundreds and hundreds of children that they're supposed to see every month. That ain't happening. It's a system where you got to keep your head down, your mouth shut, and you got to hustle. A lot of children that come out of the foster care system go into a life of crime. It's just the reality of it. But out of the 4,300 complaints made against Florida foster parents and group home staff that DCF determined did not meet the definition of serious harm, only 1,100 of those complaints found that nearly 40% were accurate and just 19 of them were inaccurate. DCF presented results to the review to stakeholders in July as part of a quarterly performance update. The department ignored public records requests from USA Today for the presentation for almost 2 months until an attorney for the newspaper demanded fulfillment. But these findings are not new, folks. This is a system that does not hold foster caregivers to the same level of scrutiny, the same level of right that they hold the birth families to. If there's an allegation of abuse, a kid come to school, said his mother had spanked him for this and that and everything, and a teacher makes that complaint, DCF steps in, takes the child out of the home, then does an investigation. They say, oh, we need to make sure the child's safe. And then they put him in a foster care system that is unsafe. And it's only gotten worse. Hadn't gotten better. I was in the foster care system 40 years ago. And it's only gotten worse. Counselors and sociologists and all that work for DCF, overworked, way too many children in each officer's docket. And foster care parents are not held to the same standards the birth families are. I'm telling you, the atrocities that children have to go through in foster care are sometimes much more detrimental than the situation DCF took them out of. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, there's abusive situations and all where it's better for them to be in foster care than there. You know, if there's a parent or an uncle or an aunt or somebody sexually molesting the child. If the child's locked away in a closet wrapped in chains and being starved. Yes, there are situations where you have to take the child out of the home. But far too many times, the situation the child is put into is far worse than the situation they were removed from. Like, look, my experience was I wasn't removed by the state. My mom just gave me up. My home life wasn't the best. My mom was a paranoid schizophrenic who had abuse issues. Okay, I've made no bones about it. When I was a kid, my mother abused us. Whipping you with an extension cord isn't normal. Beating you over the head with a wooden lamp because it was the closest thing to her, not normal. Grabbing you by the hair, shaking you around by your head when you're 8 or 9 years old and dragging you down the hallway by your hair, not normal. But at least the house was clean. There was no roaches or rats in the bed with me. There wasn't. I didn't have to keep my eyes open and my head on the swivel all the time to worry about the 16 and 17-year-olds and how they were going to try to abuse me as a 11-year-old or 12-year-old. That's the reality of foster care. And DCF doesn't seem to be concerned with it. You're held to a higher standard as a birth family than you are than DCF holds foster care to. That's the reality, folks. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Tick-tock. The days fly by, and we find tax season is upon us once again. Not to worry, though. With a reputable CPA firm on your side, you can rest assured that all of your needs will be handled in a professional and thorough manner. Robson, Scribner, and Stewart is just that firm. They're there for their clients year-round, not just during tax season, to handle your needs and answer any questions you may encounter. At Robson, Scribner, and Stewart, there is no client too small or too large. Their expertise ranges from the single individual to the largest of corporations. Get your return prepared by a professional who will use their years of experience to ensure that your tax return's outcome will leave you in the best